Conservatives 14 years. 14 long years of disaster to get into the mess they did. And this mob have managed it within a space of 18 months. I suppose you've got to admire it, really. We say Britain is broken and Britain needs reform. Our borders are completely broken. And this, I think, in many ways represents the greatest breach of trust between the governors and the governed. You think of it. That is what Birmingham has sunk to. A deindustrialised city that used to be the workshop of the world. Slayed at the altar of net zero and the highest industrial energy prices in the world. Birmingham is broken. Birmingham needs reform. And I dare say on May the 7th, Birmingham is going to get reform.
Britain is broken, but Nigel Farage just laid out his plan to fix it. In his speech at Reform UK Birmingham rally, Farage addresses the failures of both the Tories and Labour, Keir Starmer's cancelled elections, and Reform UK's bold plans to repair broken Britain. We'll also discuss the timeless leadership principle of vision that powered his message.
Well, here we are. Reform UK meeting in Birmingham. There's joy, there's optimism, there's humour, there's great belief that we can turn this country around. And yes, there are fireworks, and we enjoy ourselves, but spare a thought. No, please. Spare a thought for Downing Street this afternoon, where the curtains are drawn and the political life of the most unpopular and most useless Prime Minister in living memory is drawing to a close. The Mandelson saga tells you all that you need to know. Its depth, the numbers of people it involves, the sheer level of corruption is probably the biggest political scandal we've seen for 100 years. And it's not as if the PM wasn't warned. Everyone knew that the bloke was a wrong 'un. So McSweeney, in the short term, has carried the can. As you might have heard when you arrived, the Scottish leader, Anna Sarwar, has called on him to go. The cabinet are coming out one by one being loyal, because none of them want to appear to be the person that wields the knife. And he has to meet the backbench Labour Party at 6 p.m. this evening, where I expect the conversation will be of a rather franker nature. He won't be there for long. He'll be gone and replaced by somebody undoubtedly far worse. Far worse. It took the Conservatives 14 years, 14 long years of disaster to get into the mess they did. And this mob have managed it within a space of 18 months. I suppose you've got to admire it, really. But either way, what we do know is there is now a very clear dividing line in British politics. Keir Starmer says the country is not broken. Kemi Badenoch says the country is not broken. And we say, and 74% of the public agree with us in opinion polls, we say Britain is broken and Britain needs reform. And it doesn't matter where you look. It doesn't matter where you look. Just look at our public services. The NHS, just as one example. It's literally impossible for the NHS to cope with the level of population explosion that has happened in this country over the course of the last 20 years. And I can scarcely believe that now we are offshoring the NHS, outsourcing the NHS. You could get a telephone Zoom consultation from a doctor on a beach in Malaysia. Don't ever let the Labour Party say that Reform want to privatise the NHS whilst they're outsourcing the NHS, whilst at the same time putting a cap on the number of students who qualify as doctors and nurses every year. Complete and utter madness. And of course, our borders are completely broken. And this, I think, in many ways represents the greatest breach of trust between the governors and the governed. You think of it, the 2010 manifesto from the Conservatives, the 2015 manifesto from the Conservatives, the 2017 manifesto from the Conservatives, promising to reduce net migration to tens of thousands a year. And then in 2019, a Boris majority, Brexit done, every reason to believe we'd get a grip. And then we got the Boris wave with net up to 1 million people coming in a single year, most of whom are not bringing the kind of skills and support that our country needs. And frankly, whether it's immigration or anything else, the Conservatives were a disaster. They broke Britain, and all that Starmer and Labour are doing is making the situation worse. And the same comes for illegal immigration. Just think about it. How could it be in our interests to allow nearly 200,000 undocumented young males into our country? And that is what has happened under both the Conservatives and Labour, and now more people have arrived by boat under Starmer than did under any other Prime Minister. Our borders are broken. Our economy is broken. No one dares admit it. The national debt increased 2.5 times in 14 years of Conservatives and is now absolutely, totally out of control under what I think, despite the CV, oh no, she's got a good CV, that Rachel Reeves. 10 years, a senior economist at the Bank of England. Do you know what? She is the most useless Prime Minister in our history and an embarrassment to us on the world stage. She clearly hasn't got a clue what she's doing. As our debt explodes, as our welfare bill goes through the roof, business confidence sinks. And I particularly want to mention small business. There are 5.6 million men and women out there engaged in their own enterprises who frankly feel persecuted by both of the last two governments. And we are the party that's on the side of Alarm Clock Britain. We're on the party on the side of people who want to get up, run their businesses, have a go, and believe you me, I think those self-employed and small businesses will vote Reform at the next election. Frankly, there is nobody else who even understands what they do, because almost no one in business has ever had a proper job, and that is going to change. We are deindustrialising at a rate of knots. Heavy manufacturing, heavy engineering, shipbuilding, cement making, chemicals, steel. You can go through the long list. It's all gone off to India and China. And then the very same goods are exported back here. And we're doing it in the name of net zero. We're doing it in the name of saving the planet, despite the fact the goods that are offshored are produced to lower environmental standards and then shipped all the way back. It's incredible. In 2010, we spent £6 billion importing energy from overseas. In 2024, we spent £36 billion importing energy from overseas. We are taxed at the highest level we've been since the war, and many, many people, not just the rich, but many bright, young, ambitious people are leaving our country in what is now approaching an exodus. Our economy is broken. And have a look at our politics. That is well and truly broken. Well, you can see how broken the Labour government is, but think of the 4 years of endless psychodrama the last Conservative government put us through. Too busy fighting each other to even consider standing up and fighting for the voters and the people of this country. We have a Prime Minister who is not a leader, and things are changing on both the centre-right and the centre-left. For all of our lifetimes, we've understood that there was a two-party system that led to government in Britain. And I can say today, for the first time, the two-party system we've known all of our lives is now over. It's gone. It's consigned to history. Reform has broken the mould of British politics, something Roy Jenkins tried to do 40 years ago and failed. We have broken the mould, and that's why we've led in the last 200 opinion polls. And I must tell you that I approach May the 7th and those elections in Scotland, in Wales, in all 32 London boroughs and thousands of seats up and down the country. I now approach May the 7th with a growing sense of optimism every single day. I really do. And so broken is our politics, they've even started cancelling elections. I thought only banana republics cancelled elections. Well, I will be in the High Court on the 19th and 20th of February when we fight the government at judicial review, not just the elections this year, but to think that in the case of Norfolk, of Suffolk, of East and West Sussex, if this goes ahead, it will be the second year in a row that elections have been cancelled. We go into that court fight with every reason to think that we are going to upstage the establishment and that we are going to win and re-enfranchise 5 million people.
Nigel Farage's speech at the Reform UK rally in Birmingham was full of optimism, inspiration, and real motivation. He gave millions of Brits genuine hope for the future by clearly showing how things really can change for the better. He spoke as though the British people are on the same team, working together to make it happen. Not like it's them versus us, not like the bureaucrats versus the people, or the controllers versus the controlled. He spoke bluntly about our broken borders, our broken NHS, and the massive breach of trust by this Labour government. What really stood out was his vision. The speech perfectly captured that timeless leadership principle. Articulate a clear, inspiring picture of the future that actually gives people hope and direction. Farage painted a compelling image of a restored Great Britain, tackling those real pain points head-on, while promising genuine solutions. By showing exactly how things can get better, he gave us a roadmap of hope, not just criticism. And crucially, he framed the audience as active partners in this transformation, making everyone feel part of something much larger than themselves. The kind of vision rooted in optimism, clarity, and collective purpose is what has powered real change throughout history. It is exactly what inspires lasting hope and action. This will certainly bring lasting hope and change for Britain and its citizens. Are you optimistic about meaningful positive changes in Britain? Leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. If you have benefited in any way from this video, please subscribe, like, share, and be sure to leave us a comment.